right, everybody, welcome to BO Boys for Thursday, March 13th. Fuck it, it's a raw feed. We're doing it live in studio. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, I'm Pat.
And don't jump on that.
I have to jump on it because right before we got on the air, it was several minutes of Clayton asking, which date should I say? Should I say Thursday the 13th, Wednesday the 12th? What is the date? What is the date? We landed on the correct date, and immediately you said it wrong.
Several minutes.
Several minutes.
Hyperbolic.
We've been in here a long time in the studio trying to figure out what you would say the date is. We pointed you towards what I thought would be the correct opening, and you couldn't land the plane. It's a big epidemic here right now in the United States.
I landed the plane. I landed the plane. There was a tiny skid. Nobody counts that as not landing a plane.
I would say this was one of those tumbled over. The plane tumbles over there.
And I mean, it happens a lot more than it used to.
Right.
But I don't think we can chalk my intro up with all of the aerial disasters that have been plaguing the United States.
I would say similar. It's similar. So we'll let the listeners, callers call in, let us know what is worse, Clayton stumbling of this opening or any plane crashes you've been a part of recently. Let us know. Call up the BO Boys right now. We got to get the call-in line going. I mean, right now we're in studio. How badly do you want to start taking calls about Opus, about Looney Tunes, The Day the Earth Blew Up, coming out from Ketchup Entertainment? I wish we were taking live calls from truckers right now.
Just see it lighting up, all the lines lighting up.
Yeah.
You could see them blinking.
I mean, this episode is going to be great. Of course it is. It's the BO Boys. But could you imagine right now if we were on morning drive time and people got to call in on their way to work and give their take on Black Bag's opening weekend?
Yep.
I mean, just let the cabbies, these cabbies, they want to call in and talk about Opus.
They do.
They want to. And that's why, you know, these radio, I hear there's people ex shock jocks, or they're getting back into the radio business. Not going to go into that, but it's out there. Radio still exists. And until radio is finally they fully pull the plug on it, the BO Boys should have a live call-in radio show.
We absolutely should. Because otherwise, I mean, they're just going to be bugging their fares.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bug us instead.
Yeah. Bug us instead. Give us a call, and let's talk about the fact that this weekend there will be a Looney Tunes movie coming out from Ketchup Entertainment.
Well,
the switchboard would be lighting up to talk about that.
Because, number one, most people wouldn't know it's coming out.
Yes.
And then number two, people would think, oh, okay, it's Warner Brothers.
Right.
No, they sold this movie to Ketchup Entertainment.
They sold it to Ketchup Entertainment. And then at that point, these truckers who've been driving 3 days straight, no sleep, maybe they pull over to the side of the road, fall asleep, get whatever truckers have to get on the side of the road.
And then keep you awake, they get whatever.
Get whatever, just to keep them awake.
Then not be lonely, they get whatever.
And then they keep driving. Third shift, fourth shift. They turn the dial, AM radio, FM radio, and they hear the BO Boys saying that Ketchup Entertainment is releasing the new Warner Brothers Looney Tunes cartoon movie. And they're thinking, this must be a shock jock prank.
Yeah, this is a big prank.
These shock jocks are pranking people, and I want to be a part of that. I got to call up and call them on this prank. And then they find out it is real. It is real. I don't think it will be spectacular.
No.
I do not think this opening weekend for Ketchup Entertainment's release of the Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up, will not be spectacular, but it is real.
Now, Pat, can I ask you?
Yeah.
You have nieces.
I do.
And, of course, we're not going to name them because anonymity is important. Do they have any knowledge of Looney Tunes characters?
I got to say they don't.
Okay.
They don't. And, you know, that's my fault to the extent that kids should know about Looney Tunes right now. I think it is on uncles to provide that knowledge.
That's where it gets. It is honestly, that is an uncle thing.
Yeah.
Uncles need to show their nieces or nephews Bugs Bunny giving Elmer Fudd a haircut,
Yeah.
singing opera.
Yeah.
Like, that's something an uncle should do.
Yeah.
That's not for parents to do.
It's not, and I never did that. I mean, listen, I've given them an education. They know they've watched Beetlejuice. They've seen Ace Ventura way too young. We fast forward through certain parts, but they've seen that movie.
Chopping Broccoli.
Chopping Broccoli. Dana Carvey SNL, they are well versed in it. Farley, they know that, but I have not really shown them Bugs Bunny, and I wonder if that is secretly me not caring about the Looney Tunes that much myself. Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, what's your relationship?
Let's go into it. So we're going to start off. We got so many movies this weekend. We'll start with the big one, which is, of course, Ketchup Entertainment presents Looney Tunes in The Day the Earth Blew Up.
Yeah.
I thought I loved the Looney Tunes.
Okay.
I watched a lot of Looney Tunes when I was a kid. I was, when Roger Rabbit came out, and you have the scene where Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse are on screen together, and they're falling down the side of the building, and they both have parachutes, and they're having their exchange.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone look so small as Mickey Mouse did in that scene with Bugs Bunny. I cannot believe Disney allowed that to happen. I know. Where Mickey Mouse looked like such a putz. So clearly not funny.
Yeah.
Next to Bugs Bunny. So I loved Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
But I can't say that I've ever been compelled to. I've got to show my nieces Bugs Bunny the way I've showed them Bart Simpson.
Yes.
I've shown them, Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer, things I felt like I had to show them, but Bugs Bunny was not in that group. What about for you? Are you a Bugs Bunny guy, or did you think you were?
I thought I was. I mean, obviously, okay, so Bugs Bunny is not in this. So
well, that's the other big.
That's the other big thing, and I think he's the marquee, right?
Yeah.
If you're talking just to give people a reference, he's Batman. Bugs Bunny is Batman.
Yes.
And then everybody else is everybody else.
Everyone else is everyone else.
Right.
Yeah.
So
because
I would say Daffy's
Daffy's the other guy. I mean, so this movie is Daffy Duck.
Daffy might
and
be
Porky
Joker.
Pig. Yeah. Daffy would be the Joker, but
he's not as big as Joker.
He's not as big as Joker.
He's the Joker that universe.
Bugs Bunny is Batman and Joker. That's the problem with the Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Is Bugs Bunny is both of them combined, and then you're going down to Daffy Duck being like the Riddler.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the last time the Looney Tunes were on screen...
Was it back in action?
Yeah, but I mean, there was Space Jam 2, but that was a streamo.
Yeah, I mean,
disaster.
they were playing second fiddle to the Droogs from Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
They were the main draw.
That's true.
Of that movie.
Kids love that. Now you did. I mean, obviously, you guys have watched Clockwork Orange.
Yes, of course.
Yes, you have to.
Yeah.
So I think I'm in that camp too, where I thought I was a Looney Tunes person. And then, they're all available on Max.
Right.
And I'll be like, why don't I watch some of these? But I think there is an ingrained thing to me where that was all we had for a long time. And I think it brought me back to a time in my life when there wasn't plenty. Right. So, I feel like there's a lot of people who, if they grew up only having, like, pasta with butter on it, they might not want that now that they can afford to have lasagna.
So, okay, this could be a good analogy. My grandmother,
yes,
she grew up in Italy, in the old country, so she could be made.
Yeah.
And very poor, very terrible life. I'm sure her father was a horrible person and all this, rough childhood.
Yes.
And she had to eat drink a lot of goat's milk.
Yeah.
And just to and I guess, it wasn't good, but it specifically reminded her of those times. Of hard Scrabble times.
Yeah.
And then just milk in general forever. She just could not drink milk because a reminder of goat's milk reminded her of tough days growing up in Italy.
Yes.
And listen, for all the viewers, she ended up having a great life. you know, her married a guy who had a city job,
Oh,
union
pension.
She was fine.
Yeah.
She ended up having a great later, but never drank milk. Took her coffee black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that could be what the Looney Tunes are for us. I mean, our childhoods were easy, but still they weren't as good as when you get older and you get to make your own sketch.
Absolutely.
So that could be a thing where the Looney Tunes is a little bit of a trigger for us.
Yeah, I mean,
much like milk growing up poor in Italy.
I was happy to have the Looney Tunes when I had them.
Right.
Because some people had none.
Some people had none. Some people had maybe just Heathcliff.
Yeah, right. So some people had Heathcliff. They had the Dennis the Menace cartoon, like things like that, like really low end stuff.
Right.
And so we have
some kids maybe just had the comic strips from the newspapers because people would leave the newspaper on a subway train.
Yeah.
And they would tear out the comic page.
And
that's all they had.
And they would make rudimentary flip books to make it seem like they were watching a cartoon.
Right.
So we never had that. But still, like,
better than that. Yeah.
You know, everybody's trauma is everybody's trauma. So,
right.
You know, I'm not going to say that ours wasn't
great.
Real.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that might be why I just don't have that affinity for them.
Yeah.
And especially because if you're going to take the marquee character out of this, am I really going to go see Daffy and Porky Pig?
Well, that's the other thing. Have you watched the trailer for this Looney Tunes in the Day the Earth Blew Up?
No, I listened to you watching it on your phone.
Yes.
So I saw it.
So I'll count that.
Yeah.
For this movie, that counts. The animation on this also, and I'm sure that this has been the case on the last 10, 20 years of Looney Tunes cartoons that I haven't seen, but it's very Ren and Stimpy influence, it seems. Like if you watch this trailer, it's a lot of skin being stretched. They start with a joke of Daffy Duck has his feathers down right where his little bottom is. So you see a skin butt of Daffy Duck, which I don't remember ever seeing in our childhood Looney Tunes.
No.
There's a lot of those, and I'll look right in the camera because we're on YouTube. Hey, guys. Where they'll do a joke and Porky Pig's eyes are pulled all the way back so you could see the inside of his eyeballs, and it's very Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
And
well, this is the week for it, for sure.
This is the week for Ren and Stimpy retrospectives. I mean, maybe that's what kids want. I mean, we loved Ren and Stimpy, but it feels like an odd fit for the Looney Tunes. And overall, it just feels like the Looney Tunes don't know who they are nowadays.
Yeah.
If they're trying to do Ren and Stimpy body horror humor from the 90s as a 2025 Porky Pig
But you
movie,
said body horror. Dogman.
Yeah. I mean, but there's no... Dogman had it right in the premise.
Mm-hmm.
The title of the movie is promising you body horror movie.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
So if this movie was Porky Pig, Daffy Duck get in an accident.
Yes.
And you've got to sew them together.
Mm-hmm.
And they show the surgery. And it's the day the duck was the pig or whatever. And we'll play with it. Whatever.
Yeah.
So that is the movie that kids are given. And that's their introduction to Looney Tunes.
Yeah. Porky Duck.
Does that movie do Baffa-Boba?
I think Porky Duck, a body horror comedy where Porky Pig's head is put on Daffy Duck's body.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. I think maybe...
Or it switches halfway through. Like, that's also the possibility. Like, you can have two disgusting, gruesome surgeries in this movie.
You could just switch the heads.
Yeah, keep switching the heads.
Both heads and both bodies are in play the whole movie.
Yeah.
But I for sure think that is a better premise than... They don't even really make it clear in the trailer for the Day the Earth Blew Up. Like, what is this alien invasion? We don't see Marvin the Martian at all, which is bizarre.
Crazy. Yeah.
That's
bizarre.
If Marvin the Martian is not in this movie, was there a canceling of Marvin the Martian that we missed in the 2010s?
Well, Speedy's gone.
Speedy, I get that.
He's gone.
And is Pepe Le
Pepe
Pew
gone.
gone?
Gone.
Okay.
Gone.
But
He can't even do colleges anymore.
Wow.
Him and Pepe used to go out and do colleges. Now they can't.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Marvin the Martian, did he do something that we missed? Because why wouldn't he be in this movie? If Marvin the Martian is not canceled like Pepe Le Pew.
Listen, it could be one of those, Ronan Farrow hasn't really been heard from for a while.
Uh-huh.
Right? So he could be coming up with something. Like there might be a big Marvin the Martian article brewing. And they got ahead of it. They're like, well, we'll deal with that when we deal with it. But there must be some stuff in that article that they just want to stay away from. Even Ketchup Entertainment was like, no.
Okay. We haven't even talked about, so this is coming out from Ketchup Entertainment because Warner Brothers didn't want this movie. They made it and then sold it to Ketchup Entertainment.
Yeah.
Is that a possibility that Marvin the Martian is actually in this movie? He's not in the trailer.
And they're hiding it in the...
They're hiding it in the marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Warner Brothers knew that this Ronan Farrow expose of Marvin the Martian was coming. So they...
Bombshell.
sold
Bombshell
the movie.
expose.
They knew the bombshell was coming. Zaslav got called up for comments on it. They called up all the Warner Brothers executives for background.
Yeah.
They were shown the pictures of Marvin the Martian, the incriminating photos. So Warner Brothers knew Marvin the Martian is toast, but we have just filmed this entire movie where he is the third billed star.
And you can't just erase him.
You can't just erase him.
Yeah.
You can't redraw him.
No.
So
it's too late.
They sold this to Ketchup Entertainment.
Yeah.
Ketchup Entertainment didn't know
about the bombshell
expose. And now they're stuck releasing it, so they just don't put him in the average. Is that what's going on here?
It's very possible. That's very possible. Wow. See, now I'm interested.
But I'm more interested in the expose than I am this movie.
Yes.
Yeah,
it feels like once the expose comes out, it'd be more interesting to watch the movie on Streamo to see if the clues were there.
Right. See, again, this is why this show, the B.O. Boys, needs to be 3 hours daily morning drive time radio, because right now the switchboard will be lighting up with, hey, I actually have a Marvin the Martian story.
Yeah.
I met him at a bar. I drew something that I wasn't supposed to draw.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I was an animator at Looney Tunes, and this is what they had me draw. Whatever. We'd have all these callers.
Yeah.
And maybe people, I work at the New York Times. I've seen a draft of the bombshell expose.
Yeah.
What's in it's going to blow your hair back.
I mean, the information's great. The spelling and the punctuation's really bad, but that's just the way he works.
That's the way he works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to get it all out.
Yeah.
Writing is rewriting, and that's for somebody else.
So that's why this would be right now the hottest show, live call-in show going.
Yeah.
If you could have truckers calling it about, God knows what they've seen on the road from Marvin the Martian.
God. Yeah.
And Pepe Le Pew, and maybe Pepe Le Pew would call in, and we'd have him on.
Yeah. You got to get his side.
We got to get Pepe Le Pew side. We'd have him on.
Yeah. Because we're not condoning.
We're not condoning.
We're not condoning. We just, you want to hear it from the mouth of the
Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah, but what is he?
He is a skunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skunk. You got to hear it from the mouth of the skunk.
Yeah.
It's my grandma always used to say.
Yeah. You got to put your face right in there.
Yeah.
So, very interesting movie. It's going to bomb.
Oh, it's going to do terribly.
It's going to be terribly.
This could very well be without the variable pricing.
Playmobil
the movie. Wow. I think we're at that level of Playmobil.
Wow, the Looney Tunes. I mean, there's no Bugs, so this is not a stain on Bugs's record. I mean, not that he's had a string of hits recently. But, if this was listen, Bugs is not what he used to be in pop culture, but if he was in this, there is a higher ceiling. I mean, the other thing unsaid here is this movie is at least coming out. Warner Brothers sold this to Ketchup Entertainment. we're still never going to see Acme versus Coyote starring Will Forte and John Cena.
Yeah.
The unreleased Looney Tunes movie that supposedly is good.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people who've seen it have said.
Yeah.
But we're getting this one. It's that, and I know we've got so many books we need to write, but there is a book behind this era of the Looney Tunes.
Oh, yeah.
With these two movies and the Ketchup Entertainment involvement and the whole expose on Marvin the Martian. This is a fascinating era in the history of the Looney Tunes.
Do you think Marvin does the circuit? Do you think he goes on Rogan? Bill Maher?
Goes on, all the.
Does he go on?
He'll do a
Andrew
Kill
Schultz?
Tony.
He
and
does
all
Kill
those.
Tony. Yeah, he does 5. Or no, I think he's big enough to
be the judge.
To be the judge on Kill Tony.
Yeah, I mean,
because imagine some open micer comes out, sweats out 5 minutes, and then Marvin the Martian just shoots him with a ray gun.
Oh yeah, I mean, it would be the best thing that's ever happened on that show.
Yeah.
I mean, that's entertainment, is watching people make fun of open micers.
Yeah.
That is the new Tonight Show.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's what we got. So
that's the big release.
Yeah, that's the big release, is this Looney Tunes movie from Ketchup Entertainment. There's a Steven Soderbergh movie coming out.
Refresh my memory.
It's called Black Bag.
Okay.
And get ready, it's a spy movie.
Okay.
And it stars Cate Blanchett.
Okay.
And Shame, Michael Fassbender. I had to reach for it, but it was back there.
As soon as you said Shame, it comes flooding back.
Yes.
Yeah.
They should just call him Shame. He should change his
name
to Shame.
That's great.
Michael Shame.
Yeah.
I'm sure this is good. I saw Rotten Tomatoes. It's at 90-something%.
It's a grown-up movie.
It's a grown-up movie.
But does it have to be about spies?
There's the thing. I have such a hard time at this point wanting to see anything about spies.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's hitmen and spies. That sort of milieu is always, to me, haven't we seen everything?
Yeah.
I think the ground has been covered.
Yeah, and I know spies exist. Like spy is a real job.
As opposed to a hitman, spies actually do exist, and there's many of them.
But I do feel like movies maybe they don't. There are millions of spies.
Well, they're not as sexy as they make them.
Well, yeah.
But that's everything. And I think that's everything.
That's everything, yes.
When you look at Moneyball, obviously, Billy Bean was not as sexy as Brad Pitt.
Yes. Art Howe was, I guess, better.
Mm-hmm.
But, he wasn't as charismatic, for sure,
yes.
who played him. But, yes, obviously, Hollywood, beauty of movies, you take doughy real-life people and then you make them hot. Cate Blanchett, Michael Fassbender. But spies do feel like movies have made them seem more plentiful than they actually are.
Yeah.
And it really is. We could barely get it up for James Bond.
Yeah, he's the biggest spy of all.
Never mind non-James Bond spies. So this movie, from what I've seen the trailer, and again, I'm sure this is really good, and it's a grown-up movie, and we want people to go see movies like this. I just wish they weren't spies. I wish they were married people in a dispute, and they both were garbage truck drivers.
Yeah.
I would be so much more into Black Bag if the Black Bag was a trash bag.
Absolutely. Why not make it a trash bag?
Why not make it a trash bag?
Yeah.
And not that there's spies who pretend to be trash people.
Yeah, no.
And
people.
They work on a garbage truck.
Yeah. They're trash people.
They're trash people.
Yeah.
They are, and they got pensions and all that.
Yeah.
But they are trash people.
Yeah.
I would be so much more into that than if they were spies. They were in warring, sanitation companies.
Yeah.
That this is my route. No, this is my route. We're married, but now we're fighting over whose trash route this is.
Yeah.
The spy thing, they're one of them's, from what I could tell in the trailer, Fassbender gets the call to you got to kill your wife. Who's the spy?
I don't even think it's that. I don't even know if has to kill her. Like, I don't think it's a Mr. and Mrs. Smith situation. I think it's even more boring than that.
It's got to be Mr. and Mrs. Smith adjacent, though. Like that, at some point, they are spies who the other person is the mission.
Yeah.
Some version of that seems to be the case.
Yeah.
Is this a movie that is, so this is what, Universal? I've seen trailers for it. You know, I mean, it's a thing that's hard with any movie that's not one of the top 2 or 3 movies of the month is just how much awareness is there really?
Yeah, I think Black Bag probably has medium low awareness.
Yeah.
I mean, more awareness than Ketchup Entertainment's Looney Tunes movie.
Yeah.
Probably. But not as much as I would say Novocaine, which is another movie that's coming out.
Yeah, Novocaine is the bigger of these. So Black Bag, I mean, it's the thing of the version of Black Bag that comes out in the 90s has much more awareness because people are watching television. There'll be commercials for it during Seinfeld.
Yeah.
These stars would get on the Tonight Show. That mattered.
Oh, Shame's being interviewed on Entertainment Tonight.
Right.
You know, John Tesh is sitting down with Shame.
Right. Whereas now, you know, even if they are on the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's really not raising awareness, not raising nearly as much awareness as Pepe Le Pew talking about, you know, anti-vaccine conspiracies on Kim Dillon, you know.
Yeah.
Again, maybe the Looney Tunes movie, with all of these canceled cartoon stars going around on the podcast circuit, maybe that movie will have more awareness than we're giving it credit for.
Pepe Le Pew's really into beef tallow, I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those videos are going to get a lot of views.
Yeah.
So if he just name checks the movie, boom.
And he also read 5 Maxes. Max is out on Red number 5. It's supposed to be a good pre-workout.
Okay, so
That's
you're you're in it. You're deep in it here.
It's what I've heard.
It's what you've heard from Pepe Le Pew.
Just like rumbling. Like, I don't really pay that much attention.
Okay.
But I've heard about it.
You've heard. Do you need to inject something or I guess it's not injectables. It's more.
No.
It's a lifestyle.
No, it's down the gullet.
So yeah, Black Bag. It's just one of those movies where, what is the road to promoting a movie like this anymore?
Well, he was on Rich Eisen's show, Fassbender.
Was he talking racing, or was he? Because he's also like a stock car driver now, right? Fassbender.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he retired from acting for a while to just like fully learn how to drive race cars.
That's possible.
But I guess you could go on the Rich Eisen show to talk about anything.
Yeah. I mean, Rich Eisen has people from the entertainment industry on.
Yeah.
And they did like his True or False.
Okay.
That's the segment I watched on YouTube. So
Okay.
that was served to me.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, it's Shame. And so I saved it. I haven't watched it.
Okay.
But I will watch it at some point.
Huh.
Yeah. But it's in my saved videos.
So I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah.
In a big way. Soderbergh's so interesting in that.
We just had the movie Presence.
He just had Presence. He makes 1 million movies. He is a giant director, sort of.
But he doesn't have the name recognition the way that a Tarantino does, or a Nolan does, or a Scorsese does.
Well, his movies are not
Jordan
events.
Peele. Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
Soderbergh is the biggest director whose movies are the most non-events ever. You know,
Yes.
he's half of them on iPhones. He's done like
Yeah.
10 years of them for streaming.
Yep.
He'll have those years where he puts out 3 movies in a year. And so he's the anti-event director.
Yeah, he just likes to make movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will get into our predictions on this one. So you mentioned Novocaine.
Mm-hmm.
Novocaine then is the biggest possibility for one of these new releases this weekend.
Yeah.
So it's Jack Quaid in a sort of Crank type movie. The gimmick here is he's a normal guy who is a nice guy, not an incel. So Jack Quaid, he either plays nice guys who are nice guys or nice guys who are incels. This Novocaine seems to be a movie where he's a nice guy who's a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was born with the inability to feel pain.
Yeah,
So
which is a real thing.
It is a real thing. Have
Oh,
you
yeah.
ever met anyone who can't feel pain?
No, but I mean, there's been documented cases of that where, people have kids and they realize the kids can't feel pain. So you have to really follow them because they'll just do crazy stuff because
Right,
they
right.
just don't. Pain is a way to tell your body to stop,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or for like very specific individuals to keep going.
Right.
But, most people will have that. If I touch a burning stove, that's bad. And I want to take my hand off. But if you can't feel that, then you don't.
Then you don't.
And that's terrible.
Right.
And
You
if you're a
just watch it
5-year-old,
melt.
then you're just going to melt your hand off.
Right. I wonder if I would have done that as a 5. If I was a 5-year-old, if I was born inability to feel pain.
Yeah.
And I was a 5-year-old and I put my hand on the stove, would I just like watch my skin melt onto the stove?
Yeah.
Or would just seeing that make me grossed out where I would stop?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because is
I
pain
think
the
I
only
would
thing that would
stop.
keep you? Because pain might not be the only thing that would keep you. That grossness of it.
Yeah.
Or the smell of it. Because it's not like you can't smell the burning flesh.
Right.
And that would be gross.
Right. Yeah. So I think I would stop
Okay.
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But I could understand how other kids who, were dumber or whatever would let it just keep melting till they got to bone.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
If listen, hey guys, if you're one of those kids, you can't feel pain and you burned your hand until you just saw bone, not insulting you. I wouldn't have done it. I would have been smart enough to stop, but if you did it, good for you. Hope you like seeing the bone.
To each their own.
So that is what his Novocaine character has.
Mm-hmm.
Is he can't feel pain, and then I think it's girlfriend gets kidnapped. He's got to save her. He's just a normal guy. So the thing he has going for him is he could take a lot of punishment because he'll just keep fighting through it.
Yeah.
It's a cool premise. You really dislike this type of genre.
This goofy action movie genre has gone too far.
Okay.
It's not fun. It's not funny.
Okay.
And the action sequences usually are not good.
Okay.
So when you look at something like Love Hurts or any of the sort of action movies that go to Netflix that have this sort of like the jokey violence, to me, never works. And I don't think these movies ever really do that well. Like, John Wick is different. Anytime somebody is like, yeah, but John Wick is popular, it's like John Wick takes its action seriously.
Okay.
And even if the action is ludicrous, there's a seriousness to it that these sort of movies lack. Now,
they're not comedies. I mean, John Wick could have funny moments for sure, but they are action movies / dramas.
And even
They're
something like
not
Atomic Blonde, it's the same thing. It's like it's not trying to be humorous.
Right.
It's the humorous action film that where the characters get extremely bloody and stuff. For me, that doesn't work. And I don't think it works for a general audience, but they continue to make them. And I'm curious as to why, because they're never hits.
I think these are probably cheap movies to make.
Yeah, they're hits at the level that they need to be, I guess.
And then I think they're probably very rewatchable downstream.
Yeah.
And I think they're reliable enough in the theatrical run at the budget.
Yeah.
So this movie, Novocaine wouldn't work with a star that you have to pay a ton of money for in the lead.
Yeah.
But Jack Quaid, the budget that comes with Jack Quaid, this will probably do well enough.
Yeah. Now, there is...
Will it break out? I mean, what's the last of these, Crank wasn't even a movie that broke out. I think those Crank movies with Statham probably made $25 5 million total. Is
Well,
gonna
let's
be my
see. We
guess.
might be surprised
We
as
might be
to
surprised.
how well those did.
I feel like so much of the Statham oeuvre did like in the 30 to 40 million range. Your Mechanics, your Cranks. I would be surprised if any Crank movie got above like $26 million total.
Well, the second one was made on the popularity of Crank downstream.
Right,
Because
right.
I don't think the original did domestic gross 27
Okay.
for the first one.
And the second one, did it do more or did it?
No, 13.
13 total. Yeah, so those, and then of course we had Nobody a few years ago, and that probably did what, 28 million. I feel like that was one we talked a lot about coming out of the pandemic.
And there's going to be a Nobody too.
There'll be a Nobody. Hey, I got it on my fantasy team, so there we go.
Wow, love hurts, and
I know I went hard into this stupid genre.
but okay.
Yeah,
And I'm not just in the bag for Bobo and Kirk, honestly.
yeah.
Well, I'm in the bag for
We're in the
Bobo.
bag, of
We're in the
course.
bag for Bob.
Yeah, yeah.
But that movie did not go down the goofy comedy. And not really. Not as much as this. I mean,
You're forgetting Christopher Lloyd as a dad.
yeah, but that bus scene where he beats those guys up on the bus is one of the best action sequences
It's a great scene.
in
Yeah.
the past 15 years, maybe.
Okay.
And none of these goofy movies have the same quality or choreography of violence as that.
I haven't heard anything in Novocaine. We knew the bus scene was coming when Nobody came out. I felt like that bus scene was a talked about scene. I'm not hearing of any set piece in Novocaine that we all got to look out for. So
27 for Nobody.
27 for Nobody. So yeah, there is a ceiling on this type of movie. Trying to think of when any of these broke out in a real way, but I think the gimmick is something that people will be able to register once they've heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget what game was he at the other night, but Jack Quaid was at a basketball game. Probably was a Lakers game. And I guess throughout the game, he kept putting more bandages on himself so that when they would show him throughout the game, like he had a cut on his face, then he had a bandage around his head, then he had a neck brace.
Okay.
And you know what? That's something. We're talking about it here. I mean, I wish we were talking about it on our morning drive time radio show. And I guess then we talk about the game and the scores and, which slam dunk was the best or whatever. You got to kill time 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
But
it would be a movie sports talk hybrid.
Yeah, yeah.
It would have
hot talk. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So dating advice, of course. Yeah. So, come in, dancers come in, tell us about their lives. That type.
Yeah. Workers in the erotic dancing industry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, we tie it into like, oh, I hear Sean Baker is making a movie about this, so we have real life.
Yeah. Real life Honora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That would be a week of our movie show. Real life Honora is
come in and we like just judge how much they look like Honora.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Again, 3 hours a day we got.
And how good they are at like Honora type things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the show.
Yeah.
That's the show. It's still a movie show though.
Completely
still a box office show. Real life Honora is in studio.
Yeah. And some sports talk here and there.
And some sports talk, of course.
Yeah.
So I do like that Novocaine went that way and did some interesting promotion for this movie. They're trying.
That's great. I love that sort of promotion.
Yeah.
That's great. I and also like this is just a personal opinion. I don't find him to be very likable.
Okay.
And we got an email. I think we do need to talk about this email now.
Oh, let's talk about it now. We have a Novocaine email.
Talk about a bombshell.
Oh, you're right.
Jill's email.
Jill's email. I've got it right here. So here we go. So we got this from wannabe old girl Jill.
Yeah.
So the subject is Novocaine concern. Novocaine has had public screenings now both as the secret movie last Monday and preview showtimes over the weekend. Audiences at these screenings will have seen in the first 15 minutes of the movie something that has been concealed by the marketing, that Novocaine and his best friend are gamers. How much will people who saw these screenings telling other people who may have gone to see the movie that Novocaine is a gamer damage the movie's box office? Were multiple preview screenings a mistake if Paramount is trying to prevent people from knowing this? And that's from Jill. So
Thank you, Joe.
thank you, Jill. Right into camera. This one's for you, Jill. Hey, guys. Thank you, Jill.
Hey, guys.
So this is a bombshell. Jill, from preview screenings, it's been found out. And I love that she calls the main character Novocaine.
That's his name.
So Novocaine and his friend are gamers. And that is definitely not in the trailers or the marketing or in Jack Quaid's viral courtside promotion for this movie.
He did not have an Xbox controller in his hand.
He did not.
No.
He did not sit courtside at the Laker game next to Jack Nicholson with his Tupperware full of spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah.
And Jack Quaid holding a PS2 controller.
Yeah.
Now, you had, what was the racing movie again?
Are you going to say it?
Oh, I'm asking you to say. What was the name of the movie?
Oh, you're asking me to say it.
Yeah, what was the name of the movie?
Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo. Did whatever it did at the box office.
Yeah.
We're not going to.
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
It was a movie about gamers as the heroes.
Yes.
And since then, we have surmised through that. And have there been other movies where the gamers have been the lead characters in a movie? I mean, really from Gran Turismo, one of our theories is people do not want to see gamers as the heroes. They video game adaptations, sure, the Sonic movies, Super Mario Brothers. Video game adaptations are going to be a bigger and bigger deal as we go forward. But gamers as your lead characters, we both agree people either don't want that or at least they're not ready for that.
I don't think they want it.
You don't think they want it?
I don't think it's about being ready. I think no one will ever be ready for that.
For gamers as heroes.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, you look at, and this is not a box office hit, but a Best Picture movie, great movie. You look at Past Lives. And you had this movie about past loves, you still being in love with someone from your past, and you look at who you have now, and they made sure that the character of the husband, the lead character's husband, who is supposed to be pretty much the villain of the movie because he's keeping her from her past love. It's not a coincidence.
That's your interpretation of the film.
My interpretation of the film, should have went back to her past love, whatever. He's the villain.
Yeah.
He is a gamer.
Yes,
and
that shocking, and that was a shocking twist.
That was the midpoint movie revelation, is that she is married to gamer.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a movie that was up for Best Picture, Screenplay. So that is a masterfully done movie. And it is not a coincidence that she knew, the director knew, Celine Song knew, the audiences would immediately revolt at the sight of a gamer.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that does carry over to blockbusters, too. People don't want to see gamers. Does Jumanji: The Next Level counteract that at all? The fact that, would you consider those teenage lead characters, were they gamers? They found video games, but they were not gamers.
No, I think if you are a teen or a tween who plays video games,
right,
that doesn't mean you're a gamer.
Right.
Listen, I played a video game.
Yeah, we grew up on video games.
We grew up on video games.
We also grew up on the Looney Tunes.
True. But was it how we identify?
Right.
It's people who identify as gamers.
Right.
So Novocaine, I believe, identifies as a gamer.
We don't know. I mean, Jill's reporting it from the preview screenings.
Here's the thing.
But did they just play video games in the first act, or are they gamers? Are they like Twitch streamers?
If you are at the age, if you are past the age of 19.
Yeah.
If you can serve in the military, right? So it's 18, you can serve in the military, right?
Yes. Yeah.
If you're over the
Can't
age
rent a car till 25.
Travesty. If you are 18 and you still frequently game, then you are a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we perceive you. You may not.
I'd say out of college. I think after 21, because I think you could be in your dorm.
Okay.
Bob Marley poster behind you,
Scarface poster,
and you're gaming.
Yeah.
You're hacky sack gaming. I think both of those are fine up until college graduation.
Okay, great. I'll show some grace.
Yeah.
20, if you have
you turn 22,
yeah,
you better have a job and you better not be gaming.
Yeah, and if your
internships are over, it's jobs and it's no game.
And yeah, and if you spend over,
or you're a gamer.
Yeah, if you spend more than 5 hours a week playing video games or games of any kind at that age, you're a gamer.
You're a gamer.
I will call you a gamer.
Yeah.
And that's what you are to me.
And it's not a value judgment, but it's at least a definition.
It's a definition.
You are a gamer.
It's a designation.
So then Jack Quaid, unless they're really doing some fuzzy casting in this movie, which I don't think they are, Jack Quaid as Novocaine is definitely post-college graduation.
He's a gamer, yeah.
So if he's playing video games at all,
yeah,
you'd say he's
a gamer.
He's a gamer.
Yeah.
And that he has a friend who's a gamer. I mean, this friend is not in the trailer at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
here's the other thing.
This is a Marvin the Martian situation.
Are they in the same room gaming? Or are they gaming remotely
over headsets?
Because if that's the case, then this is not a rootable character.
Right. His friend has to be there.
The friend has to be there.
Right.
Because at the very least, that's contact with another human being.
Yes. I mean, think of Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Both those characters, they were supposed to be quote unquote losers, or they didn't have their life together. They both played video games, but at least they played them together.
In the same room.
Yeah. And that's what made us root for them as characters. Like, they're real people. And they have friends who are next to them. But if one of those characters was in London, but the other friend was in Switzerland and they're gaming, we're not rooting for them to survive.
If Novocaine has a headset,
yeah,
he's a gamer.
He's a gamer.
You don't have a headset if you're not a gamer.
Right. Or unless you either have to be a gamer or an air traffic controller.
Yeah.
Which right now we could use more of those. I wish some of these gamers would become air traffic controllers right now.
Yeah.
We could use that.
Yeah.
Though the thing is, if you have gamers become air traffic controllers, they're gonna purposely do some crazy shit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because to them it's all a game.
It's all a game. Yeah. This
and
is just an open world. Yeah, this is like, oh, it's so open world. Can you believe it?
Yeah, and they're like, I don't want to do the mission anymore. I'm just
going to crash the plane.
Yeah. So, okay, second thought. Again, hey guys, direct to camera for YouTubers. If you are a gamer, at this point, don't apply to become an air traffic controller. Your mind is too warped. And I'm not saying that negatively, value judgment, but I'm just saying you will purposely start crashing airplanes if you go from being a gamer to an air traffic controller. So just don't do it.
The fact that your mind is warped is not a value judgment, it's a fact.
Exactly. We're not saying warped good, warped bad, but it definitely warped in the direction of you will purposely down airplanes because of the way your particular mind has been warped by being a gamer.
Yeah.
Which, nothing against gamers. If you're a gamer, watches the show, like, subscribe, tell your friends. So that's Novocaine. Opus.
Oh.
A24. I mean, this looks like the most A24 movie.
Can I go on a rant?
I mean, here we go.
Okay.
You know what I'm going to do here on YouTube? You
What?
can see it. I'm about to move the microphone away because I'm not going to say anything for you.
Okay, so I want to say something about something that has been in the news. And I do want you to comment, though. So move the mic.
All right, Mike is back.
Okay, but I do like that respect, though, that you're pushing away from my rant. But this Thunderbolts * teaser,
Mm.
trailer
Mm-hmm.
that has dropped that is saying, look, it's got all of these people from these A24 movies.
Yep.
Okay.
Cinematographers, stars from the
Yeah. Okay. And they're trying to be cute and they're trying to be funny and they're trying something different.
Yep.
And normally it's something that you would applaud a major studio for doing.
Mm-hmm.
Giving these unsung talents a little bit of praise.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't doing that to give the talent praise, other than the actors, of course. But they were not touting the person who did the cinematography or the score or whatever to uplift below the line people. They weren't doing that. They were saying, look, this is different than the crap that we've been selling you because now it's got an A24 sheen.
Right, because we're saying Midsommar and Minari
Yeah.
and these movies that you would say are good. We're putting those, they just wanted those titles in the trailer for this new Marvel movie.
And so here's the problem, twofold.
Okay.
Is that if you're saying that Thunderbolts Asterisk is like an A24 movie, then you also are releasing other movies after this that are from the same factory of junk that you've been producing movies from for the last 4-5 years post-pandemic.
Yeah.
So if anything, if this movie ends up being good and interesting because of the A24 talent, then it is an outlier. It is not the new movement.
It's an asterisk.
It's an asterisk.
Yeah.
That's the asterisk.
That's
is that
the
if this is at all good or interesting, that's the asterisk. Because compared to anything post Endgame, it's gonna be not crap, right? That's what they're saying. Is like this is possibly not gonna be crap.
Right.
The other thing is they're aligning themselves with A24 and they're using A24 movies that came out eons ago.
Right.
They're putting themselves in the same breath as a studio that now is pumping out crap.
Right.
So that's the real problem, is that they didn't jump on A24 at the right time. They should have been doing this sort of stuff when A24 was a seal of quality. Now, once in a while, there'd be like Woodshock, and there'd be, they had stinkers before.
Yeah.
But A24,
it's like any movie studio.
But A24 didn't used to be like any movie studio. They did used to be, once in a while they would have something that was pretty bad and a little bit weird, but at least it was trying to be that. Like it was trying to be weird. It was trying to give like somebody a chance to do something interesting.
Okay.
Now, what's coming up for them? Legend of Ochi, which looks like a terrible E.T. sort of like fantasy ripoff movie.
Okay.
You've got Opus, which is getting terrible reviews.
It is getting 40% Rotten Tomatoes. That's, yeah.
Death of a Unicorn, which looks like shit.
Okay.
So you are then now aligning yourself with another studio that's lost its way.
If you're Marvel, but they're trying to make
Marvel.
you remember the good times. Again, they're saying Midsommar, they're saying
but
Minari. They're not saying Civil War. They're not saying this is from the producers of Civil War.
I would even say Civil War is a movie that I would be proud to align myself with.
Okay.
I wouldn't align myself with Opus or The Death of a Unicorn or Legend of Ochi or whatever that is.
Well, but they're not saying
But here's what I'm saying.
Thunderbolts Asterisk trailer is not
know.
recalling these new movies. They're saying, remember these cool movies you like.
Yes, but why align yourself with a studio that is starting to also show a lack of creativity and a lack of good product?
Right.
And
right.
I know like what you're saying is that that's the association they want, is that look at these cool movies, but that's like, okay.
I think I think with that trailer, for the everyday moviegoer who is gonna see a Marvel movie, they know titles. They're not totally going towards A24, even though A24 is.
But they're all A24 movies.
I get it, but like they're trying to sound cool to the the mass audience that is going to recognize those titles, but not necessarily recognize that A24 is on a decline, headed towards Death of a Unicorn. So I think that trailer is a last gasp at saving what's probably a bad movie in Thunderbolts.
I think it's desperate and sad. And
yeah. I know. I
Okay.
agree, but I don't think the titles themselves are going to lead people towards a bad association with A24. I think they're just not even going to think about it that much, other than the people who already are super plugged in and would be not looking forward to Thunderbolts Asterix anyway.
But do you think of Bazinga Bro, who is really into superhero movies, is going to want someone to say, oh, this movie is like Midsommar? Because the Bazinga Bro is going to be like, I didn't like that movie.
They're going to want it to be like Endgame, and that's never coming back.
And that's the thing is, so
that's the problem for Marvel.
Who are you trying to get? You're trying to get me? Because I see through it. Obviously, I'm playing 4D chess.
Right.
So I see through your bullshit.
Right.
I'm saying you should align yourself with A24 when it was cool.
But when 5 years ago, Marvel would put out a new Marvel movie and they would say, this is from the producer of the last Marvel movie that you liked.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to compare themselves to A24. They were just saying, here's a new movie made by the people from our last movie, and you love that movie.
Yeah.
And that's not where they are now.
Yeah.
But Opus, the movie that's coming out this weekend, is an A24 movie.
And it looks terrible.
It looks bad. I mean, it's getting terrible reviews, which for a movie like this is a killer, because this is one of those movies that doesn't have much of a hooky premise. The premise is pretty much every one of these, eat the rich horror, in quotes, comedy, in quotes.
Did you know fame corrupts you, Pat?
Fame is the biggest cult, apparently. There is no cult like the cult of celebrity.
Yeah.
That I did not know that until I saw the slogan in the trailer for Opus.
Yeah. So mission accomplished.
Yeah.
I'm being glib.
You are.
I'm sorry. I'm being glib. Glib is the worst. Glib is bad.
Well, this is one of your, because we got to fill 3 hours a day morning radio, and this is just one of the characters that you do, Gary Glib.
Yeah.
Every morning, you'll pretend to, even though we're a call-in show, and I'll say, all right, let me take a call now. We've got, oh God, Gary Glib is here from Flushing, New York. And then it'd be you in studio pretending to be a caller, calling in. It's Gary Glib. Yeah. And we'd get 40 minutes out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just glib about everything.
You're so glib. And then we get all the truckers calling, I hate this fuck. And we'd have to hit the dump button because they're cursing like crazy. And, so we're hitting the dump button. But these truckers, they hate Gary Glib.
Yeah.
Which makes it, I'm loving it.
Of course they do.
Of course.
Yeah.
How could they not hate this guy? So, I get it. You were doing Gary Glib. We got a lot of time to kill right now in between our Cars for Kids commercials that air 5 times an hour.
Yeah.
So you were being Gary Glib, but now back to being B.O. Boy Clayton, little more earnest. This movie just doesn't have a great relevant hook. I mean, the movie is about magazine writers. So first of all,
that's rough.
It's magazine writers.
It's written by a magazine writer.
It's written by a magazine writer.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard a lot of talk about this on various Ringer shows. They're very excited about this movie because I think it's by a magazine writer who they all came up with in the magazine world. So everyone there is finally a magazine writer is telling the story of
because finally
writers.
They can move up into a job where the thing they write quite possibly will never get read and is completely worthless as itself, and it'll just go either in someone's desk drawer or in the trash bin or stay on someone's hard drive forever, as opposed to what they do currently, which is write stuff that people get to read and is published.
Okay.
So, of course, why wouldn't they want to write something for years and years and years and then the percentage chance of it getting made being infinitesimally small?
Okay, I get where you. It took a while for me
Yeah.
to figure out that,
Yeah.
but I got it now. So, the magazine writer wrote a movie about magazine writers as the heroes.
Yeah.
In 2025, and listen, we grew up on Looney Tunes, and we grew up on magazines.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the last generation that really put magazines on a pedestal.
Yeah.
We went to magazine stands. We went to stores that just sold magazines.
Yeah, they're called newsstands.
Thing that is gone now. You'd walk into a store, all the walls would be magazine racks, be filled with new magazines. But that was then.
Mm-hmm.
That was a time we remember and we loved, but is not now.
Yeah.
So 2025, our audience is going to want a movie around a hero who grows up, who is a magazine writer.
No.
Will they even understand that? Like, do you think this is an A24 movie? So it's going after young people.
Yeah.
You know, teens, college kids, people in their 20s, 30-year-olds who want to hold on to something.
Yeah.
Do you think that audience will even understand that she writes articles for
Like a Rolling Stone type?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Because this is not a period piece. This happens now.
No.
So that is one barrier, I think, for this movie. The other barrier is it's about the villain is John Malkovich plays a
reclusive
pop singer.
Yeah.
Who was big in like the 90s and then went away for 20 plus years and is now releasing a new album, and that is a huge deal.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, who is the comp for this? Is this like if Sting went away and then now is coming back to release a new album? Is that the comp?
My thought would be Peter Gabriel.
Okay.
Because of the pretentiousness.
Right.
Although I don't think that, I don't think if Peter Gabriel came out with like a big album now, it would matter as much. I just think the big problem is there is no comp.
There is no comp for it. Yeah, exactly. It would be Peter Gabriel or Sting.
I don't think Sting, because Sting doesn't have a cult. Like he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that has like a cult following.
Well, he was he was a huge star.
He
hosted SNL, hosted a very good episode of SNL, classic elevator sketch with Kevin Nealon.
He was great in that the episode where Bart falls down the well in The Simpsons.
Yes.
He sang the tribute. But here's the thing. Sting, not so long ago, put out an album with Shaggy.
Okay.
The It Wasn't Me guy. He is so firmly in the pop realm and the adult contemporary realm.
Yeah.
That's not a good comp.
He's not arty in any way. So
no, he used to be artier when he originally sort of, his first solo sort of albums were more, but they were still hits. Peter Gabriel did have hits, but he's more of an arty guy.
If Sting stopped making music after that initial period, Police, then he does his first few solo albums, huge star, and then he stopped.
Okay, maybe then.
Then
after Dreams of the Blue Turtle.
Yeah, now he comes back. The thing is, I can't imagine that that's a huge deal. It's hard to wrap my head around a musician going away for 30 years and his comeback is covered in a big way by modern media. Although I guess it could just be this one magazine sent someone. It's maybe not necessarily a worldwide sensation.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the movie.
No.
But yeah, it's hard to find this comp of just like a solo older male sort of like solo artist that had that kind of a cult following.
But again, I don't want to get in the weeds with this movie, but I don't know how popular this character actually was in the mainstream.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Because
he could just have had like a dance hall. This could be Robbie Williams.
Yeah, because there are cult artists that have had big comebacks and they have been covered by Pitchfork.
Right.
That's
what this would be.
But the difference is that this is like supposed to be Rolling Stone and it's supposed to be a big deal, I guess.
I guess. Yeah, we haven't seen this. I think just for the prediction of the weekend, and we don't mean the artist The Weeknd. This is not about the Weeknd going away for 30 years and then coming back, which I guess that could be something. Like,
but who knows what happens 30 years from now?
Right. What
music could even mean less.
So for an audience who would go see a movie, I don't think that the hero as a magazine writer or the villain being a 80s dance hall pop star.
Yeah.
Either of those is a big hook for the premise. You know, like, because the comps to this recent comps would be The Menu, Blink Twice, right? It's that genre.
Yeah.
You go away somewhere, rich person is evil, some comment on celebrity.
Yeah.
You think it's going to be more violent than it is or scary. It's not as funny as you want it to be, not as scary as you want it to be.
Yeah.
And from the reviews, Opus seems to be a much worse version of those. If The Menu's the best one, Opus seems to be on the low end.
Yeah.
And The Menu did well when that came out. What was that, fall of 21 maybe, or 22?
I do think there was a level of that, people seeing it, like it having really good reviews.
Yes, 100%.
It having, Anya Taylor-Joy in it.
Yeah.
Ray Fiennes. I mean,
yes.
the not that Malcolm. I mean,
it's cool.
Ayo Edebiri is up and coming. I don't
Yeah.
think she puts butts in the seats, but she's definitely somebody that people would say, I want to see this because of them.
I think that the cast. It's interesting you mentioned those two. I think that Ayo Edebiri and Malkovich are comparable to Anya Taylor-Joy and Ray Fiennes.
I wouldn't say that Ayo and Anya are at the same level they were.
It's close, though, because Anya Taylor-Joy at that point, her biggest thing was the Netflix show, was Queen's Gambit. Ayo has The Bear. I would say those are comparable. Like, they're not that
Anya
far off.
Anya had The Witch.
Anya had The Witch, but they're not that far off. Like, I do think that Ray Fiennes and Anya Taylor-Joy are probably a bigger pair at that time than these two are now.
And Nicholas Hoult.
And you had Nicholas. I think once you get past the top two, none of them really matter.
John Leguizamo.
Yeah, John Leguizamo. But I think the bigger thing is The Menu got good reviews. The audience really liked it.
Yeah.
Told people to see it. It was a leggy movie. And if Opus is bad, the premise is not hooky enough to get people in opening weekend. And then if there's no good word of mouth and this movie is bad to mediocre, this will bomb in a major way.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing because, again, it's not IP. It's just a movie that, we kind of wished was better. And nowadays, everything is tougher for a movie like this to get any awareness. So if it's not good, then it's just got no chance.
I will say, though, I made a statement on the last preview episode that weekend had a bunch of movies that we always say, oh, there should be more weekends like this with varied releases.
Yeah, just give us like 5 different movies that are.
This feels like the same thing, but they all feel like better, even if none of them are going to be great. Like Novocaine's the stupid, violent action comedy.
Yeah.
Opus is the sort of A24 weird indie that's like The Menu but not as good. Black Bag is a Soderbergh movie.
Yeah. With Oscar
with
nominees and winners.
Yeah, absolutely. Kids movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Looney Tunes. From Ketchup Entertainment, no Bugs Bunny, but
right?
Still.
And then a church bus movie.
Yeah, so we got The Last Supper.
Yeah.
Which is, for a second, we thought it was from the people who give you The Chosen, but then we looked it up. It doesn't seem to be that. It's from the movie. It's the studio that gave us, what is it, God's Not Dead, I think. And let's see. It is from that studio. It is a movie about Jesus and his final days. Watch the trailer. There's a lot of foreshadowing about Judas giving his ass up.
Mm.
Judas is like, I would never do that to you. And we're all watching this trailer like, come on.
Yeah.
We know where this is going, Judas.
Absolutely. We see the iceberg.
But then there's part of me that's like, yeah, but I want to see Judas betray him.
Okay.
On the big screen.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to see him do it.
Yeah.
I know he's going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But,
well, that's a good story. I mean, that's a good movie. A good movie is if you know the end and you will still want to go on the journey.
Right. So there is, that is one of the great hooks of pop culture is seeing Judas betray Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So this movie's going to have that scene. I mean, in the trailer, they're putting him on the cross in this movie.
Oof.
I mean,
rough stuff.
It could be a dream sequence.
Yeah.
But that also does happen in the story. So I do think we're getting that scene.
Yeah.
It's called The Last Supper. So you're going to get to see what they ate.
Food porn.
You're going to get, especially nowadays, TikTok food channels.
Yeah.
Like, give us some top-down shots of them ripping the pita bread.
Yeah, pull apart.
Yeah, passing the olives, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it was mostly pita bread and olives they were eating. So show those up close.
Yeah.
So we're going to get a Last Supper meal. You'll get Mary Magdalene washing the feet, and you're going to get the hits in this movie. And we're in the Easter season. Easter's coming up in April. Is this a movie where this is the right release time, where you get it out, 3 weeks before Easter? Easter's not until the middle of April, so we got a solid
it's
month.
Early. This is a little early, it feels like.
But we've had Ash Wednesday, so that's
it's
already
in people's
happened.
minds.
It's in people's minds. We've seen the crosses on the head, so we're waiting for the Easter movie, and this is the one. No big stars in this. I'm looking at it's Jamie Ward as Jesus Christ. As you know who Jamie Ward is. We've got Robert Knepper.
Oh.
Is playing Judas. So
that's a good Judas.
So this is Robert Knepper is
from Prison Break.
From Prison Break, which is okay. Here's one thing, and we're not the Streamo boys, huh? But Prison Break apparently has been put on Netflix recently and is doing the Suits thing, where like people are finding Prison Break on Netflix in a big way.
Yeah,
everyone's watching it. That they didn't know this was a show that came out 20 years ago on Fox.
Yeah.
And they're watching it now. So is there a bit of a Robert Knepper rediscovery? This actor is a 65-year-old. I call him a character actor, even though I can't think of many characters that he's played that are that famous. But he's a 65-year-old actor who's been around. And he's
Was Judas that old?
Judas, I mean, probably not, because people lived to like 22 back then. I mean, Jesus Christ died at what,
33.
33. Judas had to be around that age. I don't think Jesus was hanging out with a 65-year-old best friend.
Yeah, probably not.
So you figure Judas was in his late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
So Robert Knepper is definitely playing younger.
Mm-hmm.
But he may be getting a little bit of a resurgence because people are watching Prison Break and they see, again, that's the guy who played Teabag Bagwell in Prison Break. Now he's playing Judas. Let me go see this movie, maybe.
But again, like Netflix is, you're not making a conscious choice to go buy a ticket and leave your house.
Right.
It's very easy to, the thing, Suits, they did a spin-off of Suits because Suits did so well on Netflix, and you don't have to leave the house to watch it, and people aren't watching it.
So
it's like you can't even get somebody
because
to switch
it's on Peacock.
That's the thing. You can't even get people to switch to a different streamer, let alone go to the theater.
Right.
So I don't think that matters. I don't think the Prison Break bump is going to be substantial at all.
Okay, so you don't think Robert Knepper comes with any kind of fan base that gets people out
I don't think so.
To The Last Supper. I'm looking at some other movies he's made the last few years. Something called The Trapped. Battle of Defense is something he made in 2020. He made a movie called Edge of Fear
Okay.
in 2018. That he played someone called Victor Novak. Write us if
Yeah.
you've seen Robert Nepper in Edge of Fear. Write us
Yeah.
theboboyspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Love to know what that movie is.
Yeah.
He was in something called Mind Cage, and now he's in The Last Supper.
Okay.
So that's
Mind Cage sounds interesting.
Mind Cage. He plays someone called Lieutenant Owings.
Oh, I'd watch that.
So let us know if you're a Robert Nepper guy, if you've seen Edge of Fear or any of
Yeah.
these other movies. But that's your co-star. He's playing Judas, and I mean that's the second guy. Unless you got I don't think there's a Pontius Pilate is played by a big star in this. Mary, Mother of Jesus, is played by someone who I've never heard of. Mary Magdalene is also a non-star. So there are no stars in this cast. Obviously, Jesus himself is the star, but it'd be nice to have some actual Hollywood star power in this movie.
But
get a
Jesus,
Dean Cain. I mean, that's the thing is, for this audience,
a Sorbo
or Dean Cain should be in there as Pontius Pilate.
Yeah.
Could it be they didn't want to play that character? If you're Dean Cain, are you turning down playing?
It's Jesus or bust.
Right. That could be the problem, is any star who'd want to be in this movie, they don't want to play any of the villains. They don't want to play Judas. They don't want to play Pontius Pilate.
Yeah.
And then once you get past that, what are the juicy roles in The Last Supper? St. Peter.
Yeah.
If you're Dean Cain, I think you would take the Peter role in The Last Supper. And I don't know who would play Mary Are there big Ronda Rousey or who's the other MMA fighter who became like
That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah.
What is her name? Write us, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com, if you can remember the name of that MMA female fighter who used to be on a Star Wars show and got fired and then tried to do movies. And I don't know where she is. She should play Mary Magdalene.
She did that Soderbergh movie. Speaking of Soderbergh.
Right. Haywire. Who was Haywire? So, yeah, this movie, it's always a crapshoot with these movies, because there could be just $9 million worth of church bus tickets that are already pre-sold to go see this on Sunday. And I'm just not sure. This is not a...
Gina Carano.
Yeah, get Gina Carano to play one of the Marys, Mary Magdalene or Mary, Mother of Christ.
Yeah.
So this definitely seems to be a church bus movie on a budget. The fact that they didn't get Gina Carano, they didn't get Dean Cain, they didn't get Buddy Lembeck from Charles in Charge, or Charles in Charge himself, Scott Baio.
Yeah.
Willie Ames. Willie Ames, of course.
Yeah, Bible man.
R.I.P. maybe? No. Like, that was a definitive. Did you hang out with Willie Ames in the last week?
He's either not dead or he shouldn't rest in peace. So
Got
it works
it.
both ways.
Got it.
So I'm not wrong.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So he's on the Pepe Le Pew circuit. Okay, interesting. I did not know that. That's some weird, wild stuff.
Good.
So
this is the week for that.
This is the week for that.
We finally got the week for it.
3 hours a day we got to kill. You got to bring out Johnny once in a while. So, yeah, Last Supper is a crapshoot, but it does feel like this is an under the radar church bus movie. So, let's see. Before we do our predictions,
how many Instagram followers does Eric Nepper have?
Robert Nepper.
No, I was right. Eric. How much does Eric? Look that up.
Oh, you just want to find out how much his uncle
no
has.
relation.
Yeah,
no relation.
Eric,
just a guy.
Just a guy.
Eric Naper.
So you look that up. I'm gonna check. We have 2 more emails that I think we should read before we give our top 5 predictions. So this is a beautiful one here. So this is from, of course, our friend and yours, Sean the alcoholic. So Sean wrote in. Excuse me 1 second. Wrote in.
I'm sorry. I found an Eric Naper that has 1 follower.
You know what? I think you should make it 2 followers right now on air. We see that's the thing. If this was our 3-hour day morning drive time shock jock show, we would find this Eric Nipper on Instagram, and then we would DM him and get him to call live on the air.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd think we'd get him to call up thinking that he's doing a call-in contest to win $1 million.
Yeah.
And then of course, you won. And then we'd be like,
we're following you on.
we're
IG.
following you on Instagram. Go fuck yourself.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
You won one follower and a go fuck yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then he would flip out. We'd be
Yeah.
hitting that dump button.
Yeah.
Dump.
He'd be saying, "You mother," and
Dump, 7-second delay. It would be
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
So, thank you for finding Eric Nepper. So now let's read this email from Sean. Sean writes, Hey guys.
Hey guys.
He writes, I turned 50 years old today. In 11 days, I will have 2 years sober, parentheses, God, Scorsese willing. Today, I made a list of the 50 best things to happen to me during this time. The B.O. Boys made the list, even that rat fuck Christopher. From Sean, alcoholic, diabetic, grateful listener.
Yeah. I mean, happy birthday, number one.
And this is going, Sean, fire up the YouTube, go to the B.O. Boys channel, because direct to camera, I am saying it. Hey guys, happy birthday, Sean.
Happy birthday. So, wow, what a year for 50ths. You've got SNL 50.
SNL 50.
You've got 50 years of Kirk Minahan, Podcast Jesus.
Yep.
You've got 50 years of Sean
the alcoholic. Yeah.
Who, if go back and watch the Boston show, he was at the Boston show.
Yeah.
Came in clutch for me
Mm-hmm.
at a time when I really needed someone. He came up to the stage. He handed me a beverage, right? This is a guy that's 2 years sober.
Yep.
And he handled an alcoholic beverage for me.
Yes.
Now, that was like carrying toxic waste,
Mm-hmm.
right? That
For
was like
you.
carrying kryptonite
Mm-hmm.
if you're Superman.
Yep.
And this man, Sean, did that for me.
For you.
For little old me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he'll always have a place in my heart.
Yes.
One of the best emails we ever received was from him.
Yes. The first time he identified as an alcoholic.
Was one of the greatest emails that we've ever received.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're talking top 50 emails
Yes.
of all time, he's up there.
Yes.
Now, I will
and
say,
that will be one of our books someday. I mean, that's going to be the real cash in.
Cash in, yeah.
That's when we're doing like Lil B.O. Boys, the kids book,
Mhm.
and we're doing a journal that's just blank pages where it's like, hey, write your favorite weekends, whatever. And then, of course, it's the B.O. Boys top 50 emails we've ever gotten.
So
That's when we are truly cashing in, and this will be in that book. Sean's email will be in that
book. Now, I will say, Sean, one of the top 50 things, that's great. Sort of makes me think that we're low on the list,
Right, that we're not
because
top 10,
like
yeah.
we're not in the top 10, because he would say you made the top 10.
Yeah.
So are we 49? I mean, we're in the 40s. I just, listen, it's great to make the list, and I'm not saying that it isn't a great honor to make this list.
Yeah. Because he's a father, so I'm sure his kids have to be in there. And
Well, this is just in those 2 years, I think, not his 50 years.
Oh, right. These are 50 things in the last 2
years.
Right.
So
But
unless his kids are under 2.
Well, I'm sure there's moments with them that make the list.
Okay.
But we should be higher than, maybe not all the moments with his kids, but many of them. We
Yeah.
should be top 10. We should be
top 10, and you should say, I made a list of the top 50 things, and you made the top 10.
And you made the top 10, yeah.
And even then, you're like, so we're 9 or we're 10.
Right. He should say top 5.
Yeah, you should say top 5.
Yeah.
And I'd be happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if we're 5, then we're 5. And we could live with that.
Yeah.
Obviously, we should be top 2, but yeah.
Number one thing. We should be the number one thing, but
we'll take top 5.
We'll take top 5. Top 5.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to assume we're top 5.
Okay. Yeah.
But
there's no reason why he shouldn't have said,
he should have just said, I made a list of 50 things. You're the number 1.
Yeah.
B.O. Boys are number 1.
Yeah. That's what he should have said. But the sentiment is there, and honored.
Honored, obviously honored. So last email that we got, and this is a bit of a tone shift from the very sweet email that we got from Sean. So
Yeah.
the subject of this email, and I will say this subject ends in an exclamation point. The subject is Clayton is fucked by Snow White! Exclamation point. This email comes from the great Danny Escamilaggi of I Screen, You Scream 4, number 4 movies. So Danny.
Now this isn't like a slash fiction story.
Oh, Clayton is fucked by Snow White. No, this is not slash fiction that he wrote on.
He's not shipping me with Snow White.
No.
Okay.
You'll see when we read the email that this does not mean you are fucked by Snow White with some kind of implement.
Okay.
So again, subject is Clayton is fucked by Snow White! Exclamation point.
Okay.
And then Danny goes on to write, Hey guys. Just want to say something to Clayton. If you can read this on air, but at the moment, due to pre-sales and controversies, I just want to say Clayton is fucked for picking Snow White in the 2025 draft! Exclamation point.
Okay.
Just want to say I feel bad and was hoping the movie becomes a success despite its controversy buzz, but it seems like it'd be apparent more than anything coming from the internet, and Disney knew its hiding doesn't become a success. Thus, Disney fucked Clayton.
Okay.
So I'm a lot to unpack there.
Okay. So I've been fucked by Snow White, the movie, and I got fucked by Disney. Because Disney knew.
Yeah.
And didn't say anything.
So what's going on here, and Danny is commenting on the big news that Disney is rolling back the premiere festivities for this Snow White movie. They're not doing a full red carpet with general press invited. They're doing a smaller affair that I guess is just just some internal departments of Disney covering it. They're not bringing the press in. And people are saying, is it because Rachel Ziegler has gotten a lot of unfair press?
Chicken shop date woman will not be asking questions on the
none of the chicken based lady interviews, chicken shop date lady, Brianna Chicken Fry, none of these journalists, and these are journalists.
Yeah.
None of these journalists will be invited to cover the Snow White premiere.
Haktua girl will not come out of her hiding to interview Rachel Ziegler on the red carpet.
As had been the hot rumor the last few weeks. A lot of people were anticipating that Haktua would finally reappear at the Snow White premiere, interview Rachel Ziegler, interview Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
And that would be how Disney really ramps up the Snow White promotions. That is not happening.
Yeah.
No Haktua girl, no Chicken Shack lady date. Who was that again? Chicken Shack lady date? What is
Chicken shop?
Chicken shop. Chicken shop won't be there. Brianna Chicken Fry, Haktua.
The companions are not going to go on a date with chicken shop date lady.
They're not. So the press will not be at the Snow White premiere. And according to Danny, this is a sign that, which I mean, some people are taking it this way, that Disney knows they have a big turkey on their hands. They're not going to be promoting it. Therefore, you have been fucked. Do you think you are fucked by Disney, by Snow White, or what is your take on this news, and does this matter for Snow White?
Well, here's the thing. I texted you that story about how they're rolling back the red carpet.
You did. So you were nervous.
Well, again, a lot of the reason they're doing that is I don't think necessarily because they think the movie is bad. I think that they are not putting microphones in front of two people who, why do that? Because them talking is not going to get people to go to the movie.
Okay.
And I don't think them talking is going to get people to not go to the movie, but it's not going to get people to go to the movie.
Right. So it's a waste of money.
So it's a waste of money. And they're really pushing Lilo and Stitch right now. I think that's what they're focusing on. Okay. Yes. Are they rolling back on the promotion? Is this movie probably going to underperform for what they would want? Yes. Now, the more important thing when we're talking about the league is that I don't necessarily think that this was one of my marquee picks.
Right.
I picked it because I thought, it could do 60 to 70. And at the time I picked it, that was good.
Right.
Like there were other movies around that people were picking that I think are going to make less than that.
Right.
So I thought Disney live action, even with the controversy, even with the companions, I thought this is a movie that could make a solid 70 to 80 domestic, and that would be that. And that's enough for me.
Right.
Now, do I think this is bad for the box office? I mean, what were the expectations on the high end for this movie?
Yeah, it's not going to be Beauty and the Beast, and we'll talk about Snow White and the Seven Companions a lot more in the next week or so. When does this come out? The 24th, I think?
So we're going to be talking about it very soon.
Very soon. So I think just in terms of this news about the premiere, and Danny, thank you for sending this email about is Clayton fucked. I don't think...
And thanks for looking out, bro.
Yeah, I don't think Clayton is any more fucked than he thought he would be when he drafted the movie in the first place. I think that's where we're at with Snow White. Is it's not going to be Beauty and the Beast, but I think it's been a long time since anyone thought that this Snow White and the Seven Companions would be Beauty and the Beast or even Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
So I think you're about as fucked as you thought you were when you drafted it.
Yeah.
And at this point, if Disney doesn't want to shell out for, getting pizzas and a ice cream bar for all of these press people, sure, why not? Save it for Lilo and Stitch.
That's March 21st. That's when it's
March 21st.
Yeah.
So next week we'll be talking about this a lot next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Disney, you're right. Lilo and Stitch is the one they're saving everything up for. That's where I think Hawk Tuah Girl makes her reappearance, interviews Lilo, interviews Stitch, Brianna Chicken Fry, Chicken Shack Date Lady. What's the name of that channel again that you love? What's her name? The Chicken Lady?
I don't love that channel. What are you talking about?
But you're the one who keeps who you know the name of her. What is her name again?
I don't know her name. She's the Chicken Shack Date woman.
Chicken Shack Date woman.
No, it's chicken. Now, see, this is what happens on this show. You get something so twisted and messed up that I can't think.
Right.
I can't go back to the original.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. You had it once.
I had it at the beginning, and people saw it, and now they're seeing it leave.
Yeah.
And now I seem stupid.
Right.
Because the way you're saying it is like, oh, whatever that thing is. Like,
yeah, I'm tossed off.
You're tossing it off. And
that's my character on this radio show.
Yeah.
You say, all right, we got a call coming in from Secaucus. It's tossed off guy.
It's Chicken Shop Date Lady.
Chicken Lady goes on a date.
Oh my God. Okay. So anyway, I think that's
tossed off guy. He really,
yeah.
He puts you through the ringer.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah.
3 hours a day. We got to fill it.
You got to fill it. This is the sort of stuff that fills it.
Tossed off guy, Gary Glib. I mean, we get through half a show just the two of them.
Real Life Honoras.
Real Life Honora. I mean, that's a week.
That's a week.
That's a week leading into the Oscars.
Yeah.
We're bringing in Real Life Honoras every day and interviewing them.
Yeah.
And many microphones.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So that's huge.
One of us will be wearing a beekeeper mask. You know. Yeah.
Yeah. Full beekeeper getup.
Yeah.
But it's also a cross promotion for the movie The Beekeeper, because of course our show will remain a movie based show.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, the Honora, Real Life Honora contest will be brought to you by Working Man, the Jason Statham movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's a movie.
And we'll be wearing construction outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a movie show.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do our top fives, because
Wow.
of course it's a movie show.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things someone on Twitter X asked, is this going to be the weekend when the streak ends? Because of course, remember, I don't know how many weeks it's been, but it's been a long time since we've had a weekend where no movie has made double digits.
Yeah.
No movie has made 10 million. Champser sent that one in, said, will be interesting to see if Novocaine could save the streak from being broken. Last time it happened was on February 9th, 2024 weekend. This was the second weekend of Argyle. 6.2 million as the number one movie. So it's been a year, little over a year, since we've had a weekend where no movie has made 10 million. And this could be that weekend. So, Clayton, would you like to go first or second in giving your top 5 predictions for the weekend?
I will go second.
Okay, so then here we go. So number 1, last weekend was Mickey 17, which made 19 million. I think number 1 this weekend will be Novocaine, and I think maybe this is me just being optimistic. I think the streak will continue. I think Novocaine squeaks past 10 million.
Okay.
10.4. I'm just putting a lot on Jack Quaid's courtside stunt.
Mm-hmm.
Got some eyeballs, got some coverage, and I think Novocaine number 1. Mickey 17, it's going to be a huge drop. I think this drops to like 8 million, which is, I think a 60% drop on this movie or more. So I think Mickey 17 is 2. Number 3 is going to be, you know what? I have no idea how many screens this is opening, but I'm going to go Last Supper. Last Supper makes like 6 million.
Wow.
I just, you know what? Robert Knepper, I think the revival of Knepper is real. I think people are going back. They're watching Prison Break. They're watching Edge of Fear. They want to see Knepper on the big screen. Number 3, Jesus is number 3 with Last Supper.
So does Chris Klemmer have to see Robert Knepper as Judas on the big screen, you think?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. And you know what? I hope so. This Chris Klemmer, he's had some couple of weeks because we've had a few of these weekends where it's just 1,000 screen squeakers.
Mm-hmm.
This guy had to go see Zoopocalypse in the theater. Yesterday, he finally saw it in the Lost Lands because that's in over 1,000 theaters, and that is currently his worst movie of the year. Yeah.
Wow.
So go, if you aren't already, subscribe to Chris Klemmer on all platforms.
Yeah.
And he does video reviews after each movie. He kneels when he gives his reviews. It's a fascinating position to give a review in.
Well, that's great for Last Supper.
Well, it's not in. He does it like a catcher's crouch.
Okay.
Like a baseball catcher, except instead of catching a baseball, he's giving a movie review.
Okay, so he's not kneeling like the signs of the cross.
No,
like
no.
Yeah.
He's kneeling like he's Mike Piazza.
Okay.
And gives a movie review.
Stations of the Cross. I'm sorry, my apologies.
Yeah. And so he kneels like he's trying to cross up a batter.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's given this movie review in the Lost Lands, worst movie of the year. But I do think he's going to have to see a lot of new movies this weekend. I think these movies, some of them are going to hit 1,000 screens. I think Last Supper could be one of those. So that is number 3. Number 4, Captain America: Brave New World. And number 5, Black Bag, I guess.
I thought you forgot Black Bag.
I guess yeah. Black Bag will get to number 5. So that's my top 5.
Number 1, Mickey 17.
Okay.
But I think it makes 9. I think the streak ends.
Wow.
Number 2 is going to be Novocaine. This is going to be a rough weekend. I think it makes 7.
Wow.
I think it makes 7.
Unlucky number 11.
Yeah. I think under that, I think you're going to have Captain America.
Okay.
Then you're going to have Black Bag.
Okay.
And then you're going to have, let's see, what?
Last Breath, The Monkey. Are you thinking of Paddington revival this weekend?
What of these newbies, though?
Last Supper? I mean, I went Last Supper.
I'll go Last Supper over Opus because I think that thing is going to eat it.
Oh, it's going to be Opus.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your headline.
Yeah.
Printed Monday morning headline Opus.
Yeah. So I'll go Last Supper.
All right. So that is our predicted top 5. I mean, cannot wait till the next episode.
I know.
When we give these results because it's going to be fascinating.
Yeah. And I'll keep people updated as to whether I feel more fucked over this week coming up leading to Snow White.
Yeah.
Because right now I don't feel fucked, but I could increasingly feel fucked.
So so Sunday night we'll have an episode going over these results, and then a week from now it's the weekend preview for Snow White weekend, and we will determine just how fucked Clayton is.
If it's changed at all.
So email us, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. Of course, we love getting your emails. Great emails this weekend, so thank you to everyone for those emails, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. We are YouTubers. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
So subscribe to the YouTube channel. You got to see it to believe it. You're only getting half the story if you just listen to the podcast feed. You got to watch the YouTube channel.
Yep.
5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the Substack. The Substack is back. New articles all the time. We got some new ones cooking up very soon. Some new stuff on the Substack. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter X for now, though. I mean, that may be going away soon.
Yeah.
Somewhere else, but the vertical videos from wannabe OVP of Interns Christopher, they're on the Instagram. They are on TikTok at the BO Boys Pod. He's doing a bang up job there.
The rat fuck, not my. I didn't call him that, but
Sean Alcoholic did call him that, but with love.
With love.
Yeah. That could be the reason why if we're not number one, which we should be number one anyway, but if we're not number one, it's because of Christopher Ratfuck.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a rare negative thing you've said about Christopher.
Well, it's on me, but clearly Sean, by calling him a ratfuck, it's his list.
Okay.
So that seems to be a barrier.
Okay.
There
Yeah.
For Sean.
Yeah.
Obviously, Christopher, that's my guy.
Yeah. Because he didn't say toss it off Pat, and plus toss it off Pat, even toss it off Pat.
Yeah, he didn't say that. He didn't blame it on my character, tossed off guy.
Tossed off guy, yeah.
Yeah. He called Christopher Ratfuck. So
yeah.
That's his feel. But listen, VP of Interns doing a great job with the vertical videos.
Yeah.
And that's all. That is all I got. I'm spent.
Pat, I finished.
Great.
And you've said it all.
Yeah.
There's nothing left to be said.
All right, so I could leave then.
Except for, until next time,
we'll smell you at the box office. Nailed it. Hey, guys.